Hello, people. Obviously another bumper one, but I figured I'd try and do one of these on one of the big days. Obviously, can do it on Christmas because of sort of having to go here, there, and everywhere, which we'll talk about in a bit. So, New Year's Day celebrations and all New Year's Eve celebrations, getting ready for the new year, looking forwards, and let's have a look at looking back first before. Yeah. So, hope everyone's all right. Continuing on from my last week with Will, which obviously was a while ago, you may have noticed when I did the recording, I was in a hotel room because I was working away in Southampton, which was for several days, sort of that week, Monday, Tuesday, drive back on Wednesday. So I was originally driving to the site with a small amount of work on the Monday, just sat in the hotel room, Domino's for dinner, maybe not very exciting. Yeah, maybe a bit dull, but I mean, I don't mind. I was sort of hoping that the next stay away I do, the company puts me in a nice hotel room, but we'll wait and see on that one. Tuesday was just a full day, absolutely just slogging it, no real stops or breaks for lunch because it was something. When I'm working away, and this might be the case for some other people, is I want to get it done. Obviously, I want to get it done correctly and right, but I also want to get it done quickly. So when I can sort of save time in little aspects here and there, I will, in order to make sure I get it all done, and then I can head back home, feet up, relax, just chill. Yeah, besides that, and then sort of a lovely pub dinner, which my colleague managed to find, which is very good. The Wednesday was a case of wrapping up the job, just an hour or two on site, and then just the long drive back, and then sort of a nice, calmish sort of day from that. Managing to go to the gym, deciding, maybe against my better judgment, to decorate my Christmas office, sort of a small tree from Sainsbury's. Other retailers are available. And using a few of the decorations I have at home, having sort of done some of the decorations in the house already for Christmas, because I think my partner sort of may have overbought on Christmas things. I think quite a few people can admit that some of their partners, or maybe themselves, get a little bit carried away with Christmas, which does happen from some people. So I decided to split it up a little bit, so that way there's a bit more Christmassy in our office, because I admittedly spend a lot of time within the office space, and I'm someone that's not necessarily the most Christmassy. So whether it's just being around sort of the right people, being around the right environment to help with that, I suppose. So yeah, no issue sort of with that otherwise. And then then I had the Thursday and the Friday processing the job, and then just drawing up the job in its entirety with my colleague, which wasn't sort of too much of a rush, and then can get back to some of the other jobs to which I was working on, because I previously scanned a job the other week within Ipswich, which the CAD-Tech was working very hard on. However, it was quite a lot of work. So my desire was to always get this other sort of topo drawn up quickly and done, in order to make sure that I can then help CAD-Tech or Revit Tech, whatever they want to call it now, moving forward, because I don't like the idea of sort of having to rely too much on other people, and then you can argue that it's that person's job, and fair enough, it might be, but I don't want to leave someone on the lurch having to do work when I feel like I should potentially do more. Whether I should have or not, my manager is going to be able to tell me, but that's just a little tick in my head, sort of expecting and demanding more from myself when I go about doing things. Beyond that, the Friday, they've started to go through the office secret Santa presents. So some of the people had their Mondays and Tuesdays booked off. So I was in, my present was there, so I was like, Yeah, why not? So, if you've ever watched TikTok, I think this might be the best way to explain to some people. You have a press up board which has handles of which you can move in and out, twist up, down, around, but essentially to work different muscle groups. Certain positions of your arms when you're doing push-ups have more of an effect on your shoulders, some have more effect on your back, more effect on your arms. So I've said that, as well as the actual gloves to go with it, with the actual like wrist support. It's actually really cool, really sweet. From my secret Santa, who I have worked out, but may not divulge here. Obviously, with the 100-day push-up challenge that I did, this is obviously something that they're aware of, which is sort of quite nice that other people are paying attention to what I'm doing on other platforms. And then I had sort of a few fun ones, which are silly ones, which I gave to one of my colleagues, sort of from sort of, as you say, it's very sweary and jokey ones, which I'm not sure I'll allow to mention on here in case any children do end up watching this, of course. Which, yeah. So beyond that, I then had Saturday would have been my last therapy session of the year. I suppose my main discussion through it all was the idea that it would be my first Christmas away from my main Christmas day away from family sort of directly, because everyone else sort of seemed to have other plans and focus on other things. So obviously it was very nice that my partner's family sort of said it was okay to sort of have Christmas Day with them, but I don't know, it's a sign of things moving forward potentially, and it's not necessarily something I'm overly comfortable with. Maybe it's down to my own personal situation of things not having moved forward as much as I'd have liked throughout the year, and sort of in comparison to other people, with other people getting on and doing a lot more. But yeah, and then the rest of the day was going to the gym and sort of watching the Lord of the Rings animation, The War of Rohirrim, which was the first of 4 films which I managed to squeeze out watching this over this video. Probably one of the better ones, I suppose. The Sunday was a very calm one, just sort of staying indoors, a few odd jobs around the house, going to the gym, and then watching Craven the Hunter, which probably was the worst of the 4 films I saw. The one I also had the lowest expectation for, in fairness, so it wasn't that surprising. Maybe the end of the Sony Pictures Marvel universe, any pictures of universe of Marvel, the Spun universe, if you watch the Weekly Planet, which I think only one person on here, if they are watching, will watch, of which like and subscribe and all of that jazz. And then the Monday and Tuesday is a case of wrapping things up in the office, manager not necessarily wanting us to go out. The Tuesday in itself is a half day on Christmas Eve, primarily breaking up around lunchtime so people can get back to their families, do any preparations, do anything otherwise. So finishing off the drawing up of my Ipswich sort of scanning job with my colleague. So with that half day on the Tuesday in the afternoon, I managed to go to the gym before it closed earlier for Christmas reasons, because I think it closed at 4:30. And then we sort of went through what sort of bit of a tradition, at least with my family anyways, going back to parents and going with brothers and sisters and sort of nieces and nephews over to the local carol service in the village, which is sort of a main sort of thing. It's a tradition. Pretty much everyone in the village does it. It's I don't know, like I wouldn't consider myself like an overly Christian person, but I don't know, it puts you in the mood. It's a bit more Christmassy, a little bit more, I don't know, it's just, I can't really explain it. I enjoy it. I wouldn't say that I'm obviously a regular churchgoer and that I potentially enjoy going regularly to church, but I always sort of enjoy the experiences. Sometimes because I sort of enjoy the pub trips afterwards, admittedly, but the owner deciding not to open on what's usually the pub's busiest day of the year, very much question marks on that one. But I'm obviously not a pub owner. I don't work in the service industry, so I don't necessarily know the ins and outs and the pain in the backside that it can be working over the Christmas period. So I'm not going to be one to judge too much on that. And obviously the big day, the Christmas day, sort of spent primarily around sort of my partner's family, going around to where her brother's family sort of lives away, and then the actual main meal around sort of her uncle's family, playing a few different board games. No, did I play board games? Oh, I didn't even play board games this year. That's actually a weird thing. That's usually a traditional thing in itself as well. I sort of had them with me, but I don't know. I felt very sort of tired, I think, from going from one place to another. Just very chilled, very relaxed. Just, yeah. And then obviously the big thing on Christmas Day, it's not the presents. No, it's not the presents. It's the new Wallace and Gromit film. Because, oh my God. Wallace and Gromit has been a tradition forever for me when it comes to Christmas. Any of them, like I used to have them on DVD. I must have them somewhere still. Absolutely love them. The sense of humour, the animation style. I don't have any words. It's just something that I've always had, I've always done, and always will do as far as I'm concerned. That sense of humour, it will never get old for me. It's just, yeah, chef's kiss and all that. And then, well, I suppose I could also go over some of the things I got for Christmas Day, I suppose, as well, or maybe I might hold off on the Boxing Day bit. So, on the main Christmas Day, so I opened up about half of my presents on the actual Christmas Day, and the other half would have been Boxing Day because of the spread of sort of family, my family Secret Santa, my sort of parents, as well as, well, and then sort of had the other days with my partner's family and her parents and so on. So I ended up managing to get several PS5 games, which I have been after ever since they've been releasing before I had a PS5. So I've got a very large collection of games, which I will potentially try and go over on Twitch. This includes, what does this include? Suicide Squad. This includes Star Wars Outlaws. This includes Gotham Knights. And recently, because one of the things I got was a PlayStation voucher, this also includes Jedi Survivor, as well as Hogwarts Legacy, which are all games I will get round to at some point. I did a bit of work on Suicide Squad. I think I'm going to try and focus more singularly on set games now, working Gotham Knights and then moving on from that. But no, it's sort of ideal, I suppose, in some respects, not necessarily having to get out and about too much during these sort of days before going back to work. I was going back on the 2nd. So the Boxing Day was very nice. Obviously, going back down to my parents with all my sort of direct family there, brothers, sisters, nieces, nephews, just sort of playing games, just sort of having a bit of a laugh, trying to sort of help out where I can. Just, I don't know, like, part of the thing with Christmas and Boxing Days and sort of spending it with family nowadays is I get more enjoyment out of giving presents than receiving presents. Like, I really appreciate any presents that I do get, but one of the things with me is I sort of can get competitive with gift giving, so I'll be like determined to be the person that gives them the best gift, and obviously that can't necessarily happen, but I will sort of strive for it regardless. I like to think that I sort of managed to do that with like my partner's presents, for example, and things like that. of which I can happily reveal now, I suppose, which was a Coldplay vinyl, which admittedly might have slightly tried to get with the idea of getting Coldplay tickets. There were many queues of tickets I've been trying to get hold of this year, and as well as tickets to go and see Ghosts later in the year, which I'll mention them a little bit later. That will be at the O2, as they're my partner's favourite band. I'm trying to give them a try, but they do feel a little culty to me. I don't know. If you listen to them, let us know what you think on them. As well as tickets to go and see the Script at Thetford Forest, supported by Tom Walker, which had a bit of a fun reaction, should we say there, which was sort of, it made me feel like I think I did the right thing, got the right thing. Like Thetford is quite a near location for me. Actually having a gig within a forest is just kind of cool. I've done it once before when I went to watch the Foals a few years ago. Going back there again, I think it's going to be really nice. It's somewhere that's not very far, considering gig locations sort of based in the middle of Suffolk. You're either going to go up to Norwich or down to London, and you don't get too many gigs of coming around Ipswich or Suffolk. So if you get anything sort of locally around here, you want to sort of grab it if you can. So took that opportunity. Obviously, I think I've seen the Script a few years before at Southend with my sort of partner, which was sort of very good. Obviously, the lineup has changed sort of since the passing of the original guitarist, so we'll sort of see what that's like, and sort of the potential emotions that might come through from that. Past the Christmas Day, past the Boxing Day, these are the days that I think I sort of enjoy the most out of having time off. It's just the time off. It's not having to rush anywhere. It's nice to see everyone, of course, but it's just those times where I can sort of put my feet up, relax, not have to think and worry. This at work needs doing. I need to be here. I need to do that. I need to go there. It's just a few of those days to decompress, just me days, which were mostly consisting of eating chocolate, drinking beer, and playing games, which might be ideal to some. I think it was for me, I suppose. Because sort of doing that for several days, of which I did also walk over to the. I did that very much on the days after Boxing Day, but I eased up on it a little bit, on the basis that I wanted to walk to go to the gym, go to the cinema as well, and then I'd probably drink a bit more afterwards. But looking at going to watch several films over the weekend, so that would include Mufasa: The Lion King on the Saturday, and on the Sunday will have been Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I kind of preferred Mufasa in some ways, I think. I don't know. Prequels are a bit funny for me. You sort of know you're going to get shown the start point. You know what the end point is because you know who's about. You know what the outcome should be. And then you've essentially just got the journey to get there, which I sort of enjoyed, to be honest. I enjoyed the journey. I think some of the songs I thought were quite catchy. Some of the things were quite good. The animation or the style, the live action style of these Lion Kings this one didn't grate on me in the same way that it sort of did with the last one. Maybe it's just sort of a little less buggy. Maybe my mindset's adapted a bit more to it. It was okay, which was probably the best thing I can say about some of these films which I've ended up seeing. Sonic 3, it was fine. Probably not as good as Mufasa, if I'm in all honesty with you, in my opinion, anyway. Maybe not quite as good as the first two, or the first sort of one in particular. I don't know, maybe it's just a kids' film, maybe I was getting older, maybe things not really designed for me. Being a weird, creepy 32-year-old bloke living alone, yeah, maybe not designed for me. Going past that, I suppose we've sort of had these other days, a few odd jobs around my parents, sort of cleaning the car, playing some more of the games, going to the gym, which is what I'll be doing probably pretty much straight after this video. It's my main thing, and then moving forward for New Year's Eve plans, which I'll be honest, they're not that exciting. New Year's celebrations have never been one for me. I'm not necessarily the most positive and optimistic person in the world, and it's overhyped, over celebration. Yeah, going out costs lots of money. The promise and renewal of something new, some big change. I don't know. I stopped doing resolutions a while ago, as maybe it's my inability to keep them. Maybe it's my optimistic attitude on life. Yeah, I don't think I go for that. Like, I respect those that do go for it, and I can appreciate that with those with a strong mindset that can carry out these sort of resolutions and plans and look at a situation as a glass half full and not a glass half empty. I don't know. Like, if I was to set resolutions, I suppose it's finish off housework to a certain standards. Maybe go on holiday. Maybe get a dog. Maybe have some more company around the house, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. Something to improve my mental state, I think, is probably what's needed more than anything else. I think the obvious thing to people that know me is not one that even I truly believe in. But yeah, sorry for getting a bit dismal and a bit dark there. I wanted to sort of thank everyone that has liked, subscribed. Please keep spreading the word. Still not that far away from being able to go live, which is what I really want, and really sort of kick on and push on. But thank you all very much. I've got an idea in my head moving forward. Obviously, I've got YouTube going currently, as you can see. Obviously, I have TikTok a little bit, which I need to get back into a little bit more. I've got Twitch. I'm potentially wondering whether to go into Snapchat as well. Let me know if you guys sort of potentially interested in that. I might try and start that up next year. Obviously, I've got Snapchat streaks with friends as a main means of contact with some of them, but potentially looking at a more in-depth everyday side of me in the same way that a TikTok is, I suppose, to some extent. But let us know what you think. I do sort of need and require feedback, otherwise it's just me stumbling blindly through this whole experience, this whole life situation. Hope everyone can look at me and talk to me should they need to. I am always free. I'm going to leave a song, which is probably the one that I've been listening to the most over the last couple of weeks, which is not necessarily a new song, partly because obviously I've mentioned them and I will be seeing them later in the year, is Square Hammer by Ghost. They've got the one other major song from TikTok, which other people I think will know, but I think this one I quite like the guitar in it. I'm still unsure of some of the lyrics of some of their songs. Some of it might take a bit of time to grow on me, but I want to go into the gig ideally not and fall into sleep and something like that, but we'll see. But no, thank you very much. Spread the word. I hope you have a lovely New Year's. Let us know what your resolutions are in those comments below. Bye for now.